Hi everybody, it's Dr. Beth, Osteopath here from Melbourne Headache Solutions. Now, as you might have noticed, I'm in a different environment today and I want to introduce you to my Zen room. Now, you might see some of my friends floating around at the moment. There goes one. This is Tiger. Now, I've also got Leo floating around. I've got some of my gorgeous cats around. And now, as I said, this is my Zen room. Behind me, I've got all my gorgeous books here, and I do love to read absolutely trashy novels. Just ask my partner, he will tell you that they are absolutely god awful. Behind me as well, I've got my Swiss ball for exercise, and I'm just going to show you around the rest of the room. So down here on the floor, I've got my yoga mat, which Tiger, she loved to nibble. I bought it, it was very expensive, and she loved to nibble it as soon as I got it. Then if we come around here, I've got a lounge that I love to lounge on. Then I've got my salt rock, I've got a diffuser, and then up on the wall, which way is it? Oh, there it is. I've got my lotus on the wall. So I've got lots of gorgeous things in here that like to make me feel calm and like to earth me when I'm feeling a little bit anxious. Now, the reason why I'm showing you around my Zen room and why I've got my lovely cats floating around at the moment is because these are definitely uncertain times, and they're certainly unprecedented times that we're going through at the moment. Now, when we've got massive uncertainty happening, this is when our anxiety is likely to flare. Now, a lot of people at the moment are either facing anxiety for the first time, or they're noticing massive spikes in their anxiety that they were previously having, but it might have been settled, or fluctuations just in their anxiety in general. Now, anxiety is not something that people want to suffer. It's not a pleasant emotion. It's something that our body naturally wants to resist. But anxiety is one of those things that we don't need to fight. We don't want to fight, because unfortunately when we fight anxiety, it gets worse. So I'm going to talk to you a bit about anxiety now to try to hopefully help give you a little bit more understanding about anxiety, so that if you are suffering with it, or if you know someone who is suffering with anxiety at the moment, then hopefully this will help. And also I'll give you a few indications of what you might be able to do in regards to anxiety, and hopefully that will help. And also we'll be working with a few more tools throughout the week to help with anxiety, because as I said, this is a very unusual time at the moment. These are strange times and uncertain times, and it's certainly something that I've never faced, and I know a lot of you have never faced, and hopefully we'll never have to face again. So basically, when it comes time for anxiety, then basically we go into fight or flight mode. Our body is programmed basically to be a caveman, because that's where we evolved from. And basically, when there is a threat to our body, we go into fight or flight. But essentially, when the threat is removed, we're supposed to, our body is supposed to settle, okay? So if you think about it, we're a human, and then a jaguar comes along, it's the threat, we run away, we get a surge of adrenaline, we run away, we get away from the jaguar, and then our body is supposed to settle down again, and our fight or flight response gets turned off. However, we've developed past the caveman portion, and in some respects this is very good, but in some respects it means that we are lingering in this fight or flight mode. So we get an experience, we get a threat, and then the threat passes, or so we think, but then we continually think about it. We think about it, we continually think about it, and so in our mind the threat doesn't ever actually pass. And so that's when we continually linger in the fight or flight mode, and we end up in this nerviness state or this anxiety state. So what we need to do is we need to do something that actually helps to break this fight or flight mode and get our body to register that the threat has actually passed. Now, in a situation like we're currently experiencing, where there's massive uncertainty, we keep doing the what ifs, and I'm not sure, and things are unbalanced, it does make it quite challenging. But there's a lot of things that we can do to help decrease the anxiety. And one thing that is really good is to help bring ourselves back to the present, focus on the now, not on the future and the what ifs and the why nows and those sorts of things. So when we start thinking about looping thoughts, or we go on a massive trail of the what ifs, then we need to do something to break those trails of thoughts. So a lot of people might have heard of mindfulness or meditation. And what exactly does that mean? Well, when it comes time for mindfulness, essentially what we want to do is, instead of letting those thoughts or those what ifs or those lots of thoughts when we get anxious build up and build up and build up until we're feeling excessively anxious, we want to cut them off at the very beginning. So we want to start thinking of something that's actually going to break this cycle of thought. Now, a really good one to do is actually think of something boring that has no emotional connection to it. So for some people, if you do something repetitively at work where you build something, that would be a good example. So for instance, with a mechanic who puts something together repetitively, you build that thing in your mind's eye. So you go, okay, well, I start with this, and then I put a nut together, and then I put a bolt together, and I use this screwdriver, and you build something small. For someone like myself who works with the body, imagining the bones in the foot is a good one, because I can envision all of the bones of the foot, I can put them all together, and I do it repetitively, but there's no emotional context to it. Something else, if you really enjoy baking, and you know a recipe off by heart, then you can make a cupcake again and again and again and again. So I need this much sugar, I need this much flour, I need to crack an egg, and you envision baking that cupcake again and again. So it's stopping those anxious thoughts from building up. So that's one way that you can do it. Another way that you can do it is actually putting positive emotional thoughts into your head, because anxiety tends to bring about negative emotions. So one thing that we can do is think about what we're really grateful for. So for instance, what I'm really grateful for is that cat that's meowing in the background. He's adorable, I love him to pieces. And I also really love my partner. He brings about a lot of joy for me. So what am I really grateful for? I'm really grateful for my job, I'm really grateful for my partner, I'm really grateful for my cats, I'm really grateful for my house. And what about these things that makes me grateful is that they bring me all sorts of warm and fuzzy feelings on the inside. And they stop these anxious thoughts or these negative thoughts from building up. So if you start feeling these thoughts from looping, oh, there's Leo, hello. If you start feeling these anxious or negative thoughts building up, then you go, I feel grateful for my partner, my cats, and my house. My partner, my cats, and my job. And you repeat it again and again and again and again until you can stop these thoughts from looping. So there are two examples of how you can do mindfulness. Then you also have things like meditation, and guided meditation can be really helpful. There are all sorts of resources that you can use. So on Spotify, you can do it on YouTube. I'm going to take you through a guided meditation later on in the week. And there are all sorts of apps that you can use as well. And then you can also do things like really focusing on your breathing. For a lot of people, when they're getting anxious, then they start doing short, shallow breaths. Again, you're in that fight or flight response. You're ready to pounce, you're ready to run, you're ready to attack. But if you focus on your breathing and you take deep, slow, big breaths in and out, then this can also really enhance what's called your parasympathetic nervous system, which helps you rest and digest, which also helps to slow your system down and takes you out of that fight or flight response, which will help to decrease the anxiety. So help focusing on your breath as well. So try these three things, see how you go, let me know how you go, and if you have specific ways to help with your anxiety, please share. If you know anybody that's suffering with anxiety, please share, please spread it around. Everybody's coping with their anxiety in their own way at the moment, but if you know someone who's struggling with it, please let them know, drop a comment, and reach out to us either with a comment or send us a message. If you just need to chat about something, also let us know. We're always here for you, and we're happy to speak to you about anything and everything, headache and migraine wise, pain wise, anxiety wise, anything. Just let us know. We're here for you in any way that you need. Thanks guys, I hope this has helped, and I'll catch you soon.